lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What's up? Good evening, everybody. It is Monday night. It is June 27th, 2023. You're tuned into the Drive-In Speaker Box, the best in movie news, film reviews, just color commentary of life, philosophy, and beyond. Here,
more accurate.
Yeah, I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm Slick Doggy the Grip.
And we're back. If you're tuning in with the live show, you'll notice, what the hell? This is Tuesday. This isn't Monday. Did I say it's Monday? Did I just say it's Monday? Did I get into like shark mode where I just said it's Monday night, 8 o'clock?
No.
Okay, good. Well, because it's not. It's Tuesday. But sometimes that happens.
Furious said that you did.
Okay, I did. See, it's.
Wow, even
I know it's one of. It's like muscle memory. We're on episode like 1,400 and whatever, and you like go, good evening, folks. It's Monday night. Listen to those assholes. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna cha-cha-cha-cha. You forget. You just black out and forget what you're saying. But anyway. We're going to talk about movies, if you haven't figured that one out. If you are tuned into the live stream, thank you for joining us. A lot of you on Twitch have already been talking to us on the pre-show. If you do not follow us on Twitch, it's a lot of fun, even though everyone's like, Twitch is dead because, you know, the Beast doesn't get his millions of dollars anymore. Like, fuck those guys. Like, it's still great for us because we didn't get much money from Twitch anyway. So, yay for being at the bottom of the totem pole for once. But yeah, if you're just downloading this on Spotify, you're probably really confused, and you should tune into the live stream next week, wherever it is you like to tune in. We got Facebook, we got Twitch, we got YouTube. Yeah, so we're here. We are going to talk about movies. Did you see anything new?
Yeah, I saw 2 new movies.
Did you see anything American and new?
One of those
Okay.
2 movies, yes.
What did you see this week?
I saw No Hard Feelings.
Oh, you went and saw that in the theater?
I mean, what else was I going to watch?
Well, I went and saw Asteroid City. And
that's more of a you go to that one movie rather than me go to that one.
But you
movie
went to
for sure.
No Hard Feelings, though.
Yeah. It's a comedy. I like comedies.
All right, wow. And then what was the other one that you saw?
Adi Parouche.
Okay. Was that playing here?
Yeah. Yeah. It was in Rogers. I got to go see that at one of the Malcos. I was super excited about that. It's the new big movie with Prabhas. Yeah, with Prabhas from Bahubali.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's the most expensive Indian movie to have ever been made at this point.
And it costs a fraction of what DC is losing.
Yes.
On
yeah.
Flash.
Which actually puts it where Prabhas is in 3 of the top 10 most expensive Indian films ever, with this one, Saho, and Bahubali Part 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we're going to be talking about all 3 of those movies here in just a moment. But first, we always start with some news. And I didn't have a whole lot of news
There wasn't much, and I didn't look up too much more.
There was a bunch of people that died that were like really old and no one cared about, so I'm not gonna bummer us all out with that.
They did find that actor that went missing in January while he was hiking.
Yeah,
that happened today.
There was a lot of the news was snowed over by everybody getting excited about trying to do. They're like, is Netflix gonna do a documentary about the Titanic exploration? Like,
no, but what they are doing is releasing Titanic. Titanic's back on Netflix next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
and some people are whatever about it, and then other people are like, yeah, hey, that's a bit insensitive, Netflix, despite the entire internet being memes of just like screw billionaires.
Dead billionaires.
Yeah.
Well, you mean, you know what's insensitive? Billionaires.
I mean, there was the guy's 19-year-old son that was there who reportedly did not want to go, but only did it because his dad really wanted him to for Father's Day. So that's a bummer.
That's some insensitive billionaire shit right there. Billionaires they're not like you and me. They're not people. I'm going to let that sink in. Anyway, yeah, so speaking of billions, Flash is not making any of those billions. Although even it could afford a ticket on the Titanic exploration.
Just one.
Just one, and it would crumple. Yeah, it's just not doing very good. It had a 72% drop in it after its first weekend to its second. Pretty rough. It needs to make a lot of money, and it's saying that it might be lucky to make $300 million worldwide.
Yeah, well, and here this last week, a lot of people got to watch it for free on Twitter because the whole movie got released, which is so funny because I talked about it in a previous episode. This was like the most well-guarded, like keep it hush movie that there's ever been, kind of a thing, because DC was like, we can't have problems like Marvel has problems. We got to keep it tight. And then spoilers came out like just days before the after credit scene was released, just right ahead of it. And now the whole movie is online. So
sweet.
Yep. But one thing that did come up in the news, and this is being reported all over the place, but has not been like officially confirmed. DC has scrapped their plans for the Sasha Calais Supergirl continuation because she had announced
good news.
She had announced that DC heads were talking to her about continuing to be Supergirl, and with the massive failure of this movie, that has scrapped that idea. Unfortunately, something that I know you've seen is that it also means no Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton as...
I'm wondering, though, if...
You can still make Batman Beyond. Those of us that like Batman Beyond are going to go see it. And people that don't know what Batman Beyond is will still know what Batman is. And Batman was the good part of
But
this
are
movie.
they going to make it, even? Like,
do it. Make it.
I think they should. That's the movie. That's the only one we actually wanted. That's the only one we've been asking
Lobo.
for.
There's
I don't know how many people have been asking for that.
Lots.
But
DC fans want Lobo.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Where are they?
Everywhere. Plus, that was one of the things about the DCU. If Momoa even said publicly on his Twitter and stuff that he wanted to be Lobo.
I mean, Lobo.
If they were getting rid of him as Aquaman for DCEU going into DCU, he wanted to be Lobo. And
I would get extremely excited about a Momoa-led Lobo.
I still want Stone Cold.
No.
He's too perfect for...
But he's not.
Yeah, because he comes in, oh, hell, yeah, you dirty bastards, Lobo's in town. And, like, slams beers and, like, chugs them.
But he's not... He would not be the character Lobo. He would just be Stone Cold with Lobo face paint.
Yeah, they're very similar. I don't know if you are
I
aware
do.
of this.
Yeah, I'm aware, but I think it would be... I think it would be really bad.
No, keep Stone Cold's entrance music just like I wanted at the end of Black Adam. Like, Lobo comes flying through the glass shatters, and he's on his space hog, and then he just does the Stone Cold entrance, like, crushes the Rock, flips him off. That would have been the best. Instead of Henry Cavill and then it getting scrapped and him getting fired and all that crap.
I should have just did a G.I. Joe crossover, and, yeah, made everybody happy. But, yeah, there's that. There was another bit of news that I thought that I was gonna say, but it's just been really light. It's been really blah. Did you have anything? I know we got 3 freaking movies to talk about.
No, I mean there wasn't a lot in the.
There was a Five Nights at Freddy's movie trailer that dropped. And
I thought that came out earlier. Was it just last week that came out?
I think so. Yeah.
It feels like forever ago. I watched it. Did you see the trailer? Like the
I never
full
really
trailer?
I never really played the game, so it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I was just
It's
like,
just a
colored teddy bears and
Chuck E. Cheese horror movie.
Yeah, but they've done that before. They made that movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that was like a straight to DVD.
It was pretty good,
And they were trying to make it be Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah.
It was pretty good. Because he didn't say a single word in that whole movie. He played pinball, he drank energy drink, and he kicked ass. That is all he did.
He never talked.
Didn't say a single word. He just rolled in. He was like the dark, mysterious stranger, and these teens are like, "Help us!" And he's there, and he's like in this car. He starts beating this one robot to death, and then he has like this watch set where he needs like his caffeine break, and it doesn't really explain why, but
he's the Flash. He has his metabolism watch.
Yeah, his watch would go off, and he'd just walk the fuck away. Like a teen would be fending for their life, and they're like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, ugh. And he'd go in where that like the pinball machine was. He'd crack open one of his energy drinks. He'd play his game, finish his energy drink, and then go back to kicking ass. And he did like 4 times in the movie. The movie's it's really good.
I like that a lot of people's favorite Nicolas Cage movies now are ones where he doesn't say anything. Like the one where he has that Gaunt's suit strapped to him and it blows his nutsack off.
Yes.
What's that weird ass
movie?
It's
like something Kingdom of the Nutsack Boom.
Ghosts
of the
Land,
Forbidden Kingdom or
something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So there's that one. What's the one that Mandy? He barely talks in Mandy
he
at
doesn't
all.
Say anything in that movie.
He just like shows up and like cleaves people. And then that one. So yeah, Nicolas Cage's new thing is just having roles where he doesn't talk and just acts weird as hell.
Yep. Let's see. James over on Facebook says Tuesday ? That's right. We weren't here yesterday, so we're here today for you. Did you have any other movie news?
Sure didn't.
No.
No.
Well, let's keep moving forward because we have 3 movies to talk about today. I want to make sure we have enough time for all of them. But let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this weekend because it's June 30th is this weekend, guys. Dun 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 dun. Dun, da, da, da. I wish I had a recorder like one of those flutes, like because I feel like that is what we're about to get. We're about to get Indiana Jones and the Depends of Doom or whatever. This is not going to be.
I did read a thing the other day about how Harrison Ford was so happy that he insisted to do some of his own stunts, and he's 80.
That's like my grandmother doing her own stunts. And a stunt for my grandmother is getting into the car and going and filling her own prescription. That's a stunt. It's like, whoa, Nana, are you sure? And you got to sign a waiver, and it's not good. As Vince said on Twitch, one of the comments, he said he just looked up movie news and saw that in Indiana Jones 5, Marion Ravenwood has a return confirmation by Karen Allen.
It's like they looked at Crystal Skull and they go, what was the only part of Crystal Skull that anyone liked at all? And they're like, I mean, the girl from the first movie came back.
Mutt. And someone said, shut that man up, get him out of here.
Yeah, it's like that meme where they're in the board office and the guy's like, Mutt. And they just kick him out of the window.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And
apparently
people really hated the ants and the monkeys, and they especially hated interdimensional beings, not truly aliens, but kind of aliens. Everyone hated that crap. But what's the one part they liked? Marion.
Because she's classic. She's,
But she's also the mom of Mutt.
Right, and I think that's where the tie-in, they're going to do a reference to Mutt or something. I did see an interview that said K. Huey Kwan was like, I'll do a Short Round spinoff if you guys want to do a TV show or something. It's just Adventures of Short Round.
That would be cool.
Because he's the right age, I would totally watch a Short Round show. No time for Indiana Jones 5, all the time for Short Round.
No time.
Sign me up, lady. It would be so good. I mean, because K. Huey Kwan, we are in for a Quanaissance, and we need more of it.
Get out.
I'm telling you.
I'd watch Kiwi Kwan and stuff, bro. I'd do it.
That's what I said.
That's what I said. Booty traps.
But I mean, if we had a Short Round spinoff all day long, forever. So
and then they need to have a Data spinoff, and it's him having like a tech store where he makes gadgets.
He's like a secret agent
and your cable
treasure
scramblers.
Yeah, he's a treasure hunter.
Cable
like
to scramble
iPad repair guy. He works in like a cell phone repair shop, and he makes little gadgets on the side, and then he goes on adventures with his friends, and they go look for treasures. Because I mean, they're already making treasure hunting movies. Like we talked about it several episodes ago. Outer Banks, they've got another season renewed, and now they're like professional
That's your
treasure
show.
hunters. I know, but I would much rather watch like Data and the New Goonies, like, you know, as like experienced, you know, treasure hunters, iPad repairman by day, treasure hunter by night. I mean, Chunk is a lawyer now. Just bring him in. He's just a lawyer by day, treasure hunter by night. I'm pretty sure Corey Feldman would sign up because he's just the comeback king. I don't know if you've...
Is that one of his songs?
Oh my God, have you not watched this video?
I've seen 2 or 3 of him singing.
I'm the
dancing.
comeback king. And he does like Michael Jackson moves and and
Yeah.
my God, I don't know
It's good.
when his psychotic break happened, but he turned it into art. And
Probably around the time of TMNT 2.
I'm the comeback king. How have you not heard this?
I might have. I've seen 2 or 3 of his songs. It's just I didn't set them to memory because I was. It's like, you know, watching it. It's like, oh, sweaty. You know, like.
Oh wait, hang on.
Yeah. All right. I've seen this.
Yeah.
Let's not
The
get an episode
comeback king.
shut down over Corey Feldman music.
Yeah, dude. I want to see if I can get just the chorus because.
I'm the comeback king. I am missing nothing.
Yeah, he ain't missing nothing. He's the comeback king. So I'm waiting for this comeback. Actually, if he is indeed the foretold king of comebacks, like let's get him in Goonies 2. Yeah, Velvet Satan says I don't think the algorithm cares about comeback king.
Just depends on if Sony owns any part of it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to look and see. I mean, yeah, I'm not. It's Corey Feldman. It's on his YouTube channel, which only has 50,000 subscribers. 50,001. There you go. Yeah, it's a thing. Corey Feldman, man, what a guy. Indiana Jones 5. Yeah, it's coming out this weekend. We're gonna see it. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to see it.
Yeah.
We're contractually obligated
Yeah.
to see it, and it will happen this weekend. So
Listen, I watched the last one in the theater, and
So
you
did I.
remember when South Park made that episode about it and how it made you feel, the terrible things that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were doing to Indiana Jones.
well, Steven
That's
Spielberg
what it felt like.
even went on record. I wish I had the, I didn't do any like preemptive like information to look up here, but I remember there was an interview with Steven Spielberg, and he said that filming Indiana Jones 4 was one of the most miserable things he's ever had to do because it was the whole movie him and George Lucas fighting. And
Which one?
4.
They worked together on 4?
Uh-huh. And it was just like they couldn't agree on anything. And it was like George Lucas did part of the movie and Steven Spielberg did part of the movie. And they were like, fine, you do your part. I'm going to draw a line in the floor and you go over here and you make your part of the movie. I'll make my part of the movie and they'll fit together somehow in the edit and fucking don't talk to me. And, yeah.
They could have made another Last Crusade, but instead they made Crystal Skull.
Yeah. And honestly, Crystal Skull, I'm not mad at that being the treasure. Like, if it'd been the Crystal Skull from, say, House 2, the second story, that would have been badass because it was like an Aztec, like, Incan skull. It wasn't like an alien interdimensional traveler. It was just like a skull that had, like, mystical powers, just like, the Shankara stones. They were, magical stones that didn't, like, open a portal to a pyramid that turned upside down and turned to a fucking spaceship or whatever it did in the end of Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah, it was like that was it.
It was just mysterious, quasi-religious, like don't get too complicated with it, but they had to make it look like a xenomorph skull, and then they had to have a spaceship and the refrigerator nuclear bomb. I will never live that. I will never ever forgive them for that dumbass scene.
And the monkey swinging.
The monkey swing, I don't remember it. I blanked out. That's gone. Like it's one of those trauma memories where you're like, I don't remember that. Like it didn't happen to me, and it's just so traumatic that it's gone.
Kate Blanchett phoning it in real hard.
Yep, all that's gone. I have no recollection of that.
And who's the actor that played his the old professor that had gone crazy because of the crystal skull? He's the dude from Alien.
Oh, Jesus.
He's in everything, and I can't remember his name. British dude.
Yeah, but
anyhow, they just
John Hurt.
Yeah, they put him in the role where he didn't talk at all.
They've got a lot of the bar is high, and it will not be reached. I promise all of you, this bar will not be reached. If this movie is good, I will eat this box of Pop-Tarts. That's a treat. I'll probably eat this box of Pop-Tarts anyway. I don't know. No.
Regardless of how good it is, it's still going to be only third or fourth best Indiana Jones.
Yeah. It could be perfect and still only be the third or the fourth best Indiana Jones.
That's true.
Yeah. It's true.
You got Last Crusade, Temple, the
Temple
Raiders, and then Temple.
And you got Raiders, and then you got Last Crusade. Yeah. Vince says, I know you don't rate movies, but predict how good it will be on 1 to 10. 4.
That's exactly where I was about to go.
And then Furious Apology comes in. I hope it's better than 4. 4. It's good. It's 4. Okay, because here's the thing. Here's the thing that we all have to do. This is a when you're going, oh yeah, you're thinking about getting the Golden Idol popcorn tin or whatever the fuck your movie theater is going to sell you for $50.
Dude, if that Optimus gets marked down this weekend.
And you're going to be buying your ticket, you're going to get your phone out and you're just going to be like, ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da, and you're going to find your fedora, you're going to dust that fucker off, and you're just going to be ready to get your adventure on. You're going to have a pre-watch party. There's going to be chilled monkey brains and a lot of culturally
peanut
insensitive
butter
food. And you're going to just be super amped about it, and you're gonna get into the theater, and you're just endorphin rush of hearing that music on the big screen. That will be instantly cool. That is gonna be cool. I promise you. You're gonna get a feeling, a nostalgic feeling, a beautiful feeling, a very special feeling that you're not going to be able to ignore. It's like that good happy neighbor that you wanted to always be there, and it'll be a whisper from the past, and it'll wash over you. That nostalgia will go and you'll get this endorphin rush, and you'll see Indiana Jones. It'll be this dramatic turn, and you're like, it's him in the outfit. That's cool. Yes, all these things are cool. This does not make a good movie, okay? And so this is the experiment. This is the exercise that you all need to do at home, is sit in the theater and be able to identify the things, just the push button sugar rush endorphin bumps that they know is going to be cool, and don't let that make you decide that the movie is good, because you can go into a movie that sucks mega monkey balls, chilled monkey balls, and it'd still be a terrible movie, but make you feel really good in those parts. Guardians of the Galaxy is a really great example. There are rad scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy. There are spaceships and lasers and tree people and hot green aliens and just all the things, and you're like, this is cool. But it's a terrible movie. But it's assembling scenes. It's like Kill Bill is a terrible movie.
Both of them.
And, Tarantino knows it. Because Tarantino went on record saying, Kill Bill was just me filming a bunch of scenes from some of my old favorite movies that I figured out how to tie into a feature-length film. He's like, the story came later. I just wanted to film all of my favorite scenes that are just intrinsically cool to watch. Sword fights in the snow.
Blood spray.
All that shit's awesome. Does it make a good movie? No. Think about that when you go see this movie, because I guarantee you it's not going to be good, but it's going to make you feel good sometimes.
Also, the de-aging effect will not be able to stand up to the original de-aged Indiana Jones.
River Phoenix.
Yeah.
who's also dead.
Thanks, guy.
Well, he died a long time ago. We all
That's
knew.
true.
Spoiler alert. That was a long time ago.
Because he was in a movie with friggin' Comeback King.
Corey Feldman. What was it, Stand By Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The comeback king. Shit.
Don't do it.
You better make it sting, 'cause I'm the comeback king.
All right. You better make it sting, because I'm the comeback king. God damn, it's such a bad video. Vince says Stand By Me is greater than the Goonies. I'm sorry you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They're
both really good.
unless you're just really into children with leeches on their penis, then I don't know. And fat guys vomiting in other people's mouths. Like, maybe you're into some stuff that we don't know about, Vince. I don't know.
Just
But,
really evil Kiefer Sutherland's.
yeah, I mean, and in that case, then Lost Boys is going to be your greater evil Kiefer.
Yeah, but he was like more evil in Stand By Me.
I mean, somehow he was a bigger asshole in
Yes.
Stand By Me. Michael in Lost Boys, or not Michael, but David, his character David in Lost Boys, had an innocent side about him, but he was still an evil bloodsucker. He was an evil bloodsucker, Michael. Yeah. A goddamn. What does he say? Goddamn bloodsucking. I can't remember what Corey Feldman said. Anyway.
I don't remember.
A goddamn blood-sucking something creature of the night. I think that's what something to that effect. Anyway, Lost Boys rules. Okay, Stephen King during his Coke era was messed up. Yes, Dina, you are correct on Twitch for that comment. Stephen King was messed up in a lot of eras. So
He's a weird cat.
He's a weird cat.
What else is coming out besides Indiana Jones? Nothing.
the Kraken movie, Ruby Gilman, Teenage Kraken.
Oh.
So it's Jane Fonda, Lana Condor, Toni Collette, Coleman Dingo. Yeah, it's about a teenage squid girl that finds out she's inherited the power of the mighty Kraken. And then there's these uppity nice girl mermaids, or mean girl mermaids. And it's just high school drama, but under the sea. And, pretty straightforward, like, I'm a girl that nobody understands, and I'm awkward and ugly, and everybody hates me for some inexplicable reason, but I've been gifted with magic powers, which makes me the number one. I'll show them. And then I probably have to save everybody's life, even though the popular girls don't like me. And, yeah, it's that storyline that everyone's seen. It's the same as, like, the I'm the boy that sits in the dugout, and no one believes that I can be a sports person. And then they become a sports person, and everyone like loves them. And it's a story you've seen 1,000 million billion times. But this is from the producers of How to Train Your Dragon. My own brother, a goddamn shit second vampire. I was so close, but so far. But that's coming out. It's from it's DreamWorks. So Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon. I'm sure it'll be cute, but the story just seems so played out. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon was kind of cool.
Had a good voice cast.
It did have a really good voice cast, and I felt like the movie was more about.
Had a Scottish voice cast.
There was multiple storylines at play. It's like preservation of a dying species and a way of life, and there's a village and other bad guys, and there's a lot going on in How to Train Your Dragon. Even in Shrek, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things at play. This is just like I'm being bullied at school, but now I have magic powers. Yay! I don't know. Seen it? Whatever, dude. CGI animals doing people things, as far as I'm concerned. And you know how much I love those movies. So that's what's coming out. Both of them are probably going to be underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, you want to talk about some movies?
Yeah.
Let's talk about
You mean to get mine out of the way?
well, let's talk about Honey, I'm Home, or what was the one that you watched?
Oh, that's the one that more people probably care about. You want me to talk
Well,
about
that's
that
what I'm
one
saying.
first?
Let's I mean, we only have 30 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Let me get the Indian one out of the way.
Is that going to be like a 15-minute review?
Yeah, it'll be quick.
That's not
That's
quick.
not quick.
It'll be quick.
That's
5 minutes, go.
you got
Let's do your order, man. Do what you want.
I'm just saying. Sometimes these things tend to go 20 minutes
nah.
because you're wrapping in a 17-hour movie review. It's got to be in a.
No, it was 2 hours and 49 minutes. 2 hours.
Oh, okay, so just shy of 3.
Yeah, it was just.
All right, fine, knock it out. Let's hear the entire
All right,
plot.
I went and watched Adi Purush. The plot's 2,500 years old, man. It's the story of Ramayana. You know, you got Rama, born to the king. He's the oldest of 3 sons, who was born via the fire ritual. So he has the powers of Vishnu in him. But one of his get that out of here, guy. That has nothing to do with that. One of his father's wives asked that he be banned for 14 years so that her son can be made king instead of him. He agrees to it. So him, his brother Lakshmi, his wife Sita, they live in the woods. Sita's kidnapped by Ravana. They go to rescue her with an army of the apes, and they defeat the evil kingdom of Lanka and Ravana, the 10-headed.
It's a classic. It's a classic story. Yeah,
with Hanuman the super monkey.
Who is a really cool character.
Yes. This movie does all of those things, and it is a lot of fun. It's very good. Its visuals are very terrible. Keep in mind, we were talking about this earlier.
Is it a anthropomorphic monkey?
Yes, many of them. And the frame rate on all the CGI is very bad. It's underwhelming, but this movie had a
Speed Force bad?
Not as bad as Speed Force, but the frame rate is what makes it a little worse. The graphics are better than Flash, but the frame rate on the CGI isn't good. And that's the whole thing. This movie cost $73 million with its advertising budget in it, and it outdoes a Hollywood blockbuster movie that failed to bust the block. But it's underperforming in India. And that's because they did the Little Mermaid treatment. They changed it. They changed how people look. They changed the way
from
that
the classic story that everybody knows.
And the entire country hates it. And this is one of the biggest failures in Indian movie history, despite the fact it's a good movie. It tells the story of the Ramayana, except it stops when he rescues Sita from Ravana, right? That's where it ends. It doesn't go where they return to the kingdom just for everyone to talk bad about Sita and her be banned 2 or 3 times because everyone's like, she's like cheating on you and stuff, and Rama's like, get out of here. They don't go into that whole thing. They end it where everyone's like the hero. But the big criticisms on this movie that India's having is that it tries to be a Marvel movie. It changes the kingdom of Lanka into being all black. Everything is like ebony stone, and it's black and gloomy, and there's like an army of bats and ogres and all of this stuff, rather than a city of gold full of the crap. The
city of crap.
No, like the Hindu like demons and stuff, not
like where Vishnu and stuff.
No, Vishnu's one of the good gods.
Shiva's the bad one, right?
Kinda. They worship Shiva in Lanka, but the story is there. But it has just enough changes. They change the vulture to a hawk. They make the apes look weird, and they act a little different. They make Ravana be what they called him, a angsty teen goth version of a Taliban. It's like,
okay,
yeah, people absolutely hate it, but it is a fun movie. It has all the important parts of the Ramayana in it. I think Prabhas did really good. I had a good time with it. The graphics are something you get over after the initial action scene where they look terrible. There's other parts of it that look great. Like they have like a force field that sets up that has like the Indian swastika and stuff as like the protection barrier and everything. And that looks fantastic. And there's some parts of it like when Hanuman like grows to giant size and Rama's riding on him and just like shooting down all these like blades on the walls, taking out the monkey soldiers and stuff. It's very cool, but there's so much of it that looks so bad, it pulls you out of it. Like the Ravana looks good, the music in it's fantastic, but dude, it doesn't belong. But just as a whole, if you're attached to Ramayana the way that a lot of people are via religious means and stuff like that,
you don't mess with that.
They changed it, and people hate it for that, but it's undeserved because it is fun. It's a good movie. It doesn't feel like it's as long as it is.
Was there an intermission?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a good time with it, so I will recommend it. But kind of learn. You don't have to know the source material, but it helps so that you understand why people would be upset about it or whatever. But it was actually a good time. I liked it.
And is it still playing in Northwest Arkansas?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was officially released not last week, but the week before. But we didn't get it until this week.
Oh. Well, and it's in Rogers, right? So if you live in the Northwest Arkansas area where we're broadcasting live from, you can check that out. The Rogers, what is it? The Town Cinema or Theatra or?
It was at the mall.
Oh, was it the mall one? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there was like a quote from this dude who writes books and screenwriting. He said, "Distorting the original to retell is a strict no. In visual mediums, we should never try to imitate the superhero films that come out of the conveyor belt of Hollywood film factories. A great epic like Ramayana cannot be reduced to a simplistic fairy tale retelling of Marvel films where good triumphs over evil. Our epics are deeper and more layered than that." He was like, India's too rich, the culture's too rich, the history's too rich to try and replicate
it kind of reminds
Marvel
me
movies.
Of in China, the Journey to the West story, which is again about another monkey god. That's another one that's very similar. It's like they never really try to mess with it too much. It's a story that everybody knows, and it's really fun. I think even Stephen Chow did a Journey to the West that was pretty fun. But yeah, don't mess with the classics.
Yeah, I think they did Forbidden Kingdom, and no one liked it with Jet Li and Jackie Chan because the white kid was the hero, but Jet Li ended up being Sun Wukong in like disguise. But he didn't even know he was Sun Wukong or something like that.
When they were filming the movie?
Yeah, well, no, but the character, China hated that version of it. But Jet Li was a cool Monkey King.
Jet Li's a cool most of the things. Love Jet Li. Well, okay. Well, that's playing probably not in a theater near you, but if it is, you can check it out. And can we get some of the Jake's Foreign Films emojis in the Twitter or the Twitch chat for all of you guys that are on the live stream? Just throw them up there. Love seeing them. Okay. Well, then I guess I will take a turn while Jake drinks some water, catches up. What is that? I don't know that emoji. Thanks, Velvet Santa. But Asteroid City, that's the one that I saw. It's new, and it's making a lot of money. It's apparently Wes Anderson's biggest box office weekend of his entire career.
Wow, Santa.
Which is kind of weird. I think that's just because it did get a very wide expanded release. It's in over 1,675 theaters nationwide. And it took in a lot more than his previous film, which was French Dispatch. It earned only $45.1 million in all of 2021.
It's pretty wild that it got better numbers than like Fantastic Mr. Fox or Darjeeling Limited or...
Well, I think that when Darjeeling Limited came out, people were... Wes Anderson had not become a household name yet. I feel like now, and this is actually where my review's going.
I was about to say, that's like right after he did, because it was the return of the Wilson brothers.
Every hipster knew. I'm talking like when your parents know who Wes Anderson is and what that style means. Like that took a while until everybody. Grand Budapest was pretty popular, but it was not in a theatrical, like monetary box office. Royal Tenenbaum's Moonrise Kingdom had remarkably long, enduring careers, but didn't have big breakout box office hits. Grand Budapest Hotel had 163 million lifetime gross, but it didn't break out with a big box office. This is his biggest box office weekend ever. Does that make sense? We won't see. I mean, we'll still need to see how long and how much money it makes at the end of its run. And this is where I think it's going to fall, because I didn't really like this movie. I feel like he has become so much of an institution that even your not cool auntie is like, oh, I love Wes Anderson. He's just a real peculiar filmmaker. And Wes, I feel, has gotten so hyper stylized in his own sort of M. Night Shyamalan style cage that he's built for himself, that he's like, I have to have all the tracking pan shots, I have to have all the list items, I have to have all these stark color things, I have to do, everybody's expecting me to do these miniatures, then pan overs, and then room to room to room to room, and I have to do people just standing there staring at the camera, and then they look over and the camera moves. I have to do all of these shots that everybody makes fun of that I do and copies them. And then he forgot to write any interesting characters. And while this movie is without a doubt remarkably beautiful to look at, it is, every scene is a postcard. Like, it's beautiful. But there's some pretty weird, awkward green screen. I think Tom Hanks wasn't even there for most of the movie. You could see him interacting with different characters, and I'm like, dude, their eye line's fucked, and he's got the kind of the green screen outline, but the other character on screen doesn't, so this seems a little odd. But it, Velvet Santa says, is it basically a screensaver? In certain parts, like, there were some really cool things because, with his work on Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox and things like that, his use of miniatures and stop motion, like, he's incorporated a lot of that into his modern filmmaking. You saw some of that in Grand Budapest, and you see a lot of it here, where a lot of the town and the train tracks and all this stuff is miniatures. Like, it's a little tiny miniature that, he superimposes a lot of the scenes that are going on. So, like, these actors are in this fake little stage because this movie takes place. It is a stage play that we are witnessing, sort of the imaginative version of this stage play, right? And so it's very, like, noises off meta. So you're coming in with, Incredible Hulk, help me out. What's his name?
Ruffalo?
No, the first one.
Ed Norton.
Ed Norton's the writer of the screenplay of this play, which is called Asteroid City. And then we are watching, like, the first run of the performance of these actors playing the play Asteroid City. And you neither get interested or introduced into these characters as their actor selves, nor do you really get invested into their characters as their character selves. And the story is also very forgettable. They're just quarantined in this little small tourist town that has a crater there and an asteroid. An alien comes back, which is the only, like, actually pretty cool cameo in the whole part. I mean, Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, he shows up for 30 seconds. And
Earth girls are easy. It's all connected.
He's the alien, yeah, and it's funny. And, but you see him kind of with his costume and his mask off over there, like, having a coffee, and, like, that's it. He doesn't really say anything. You just know that he's the stop-motion alien that was on screen for a minute. And, it doesn't mean that this movie's not fun to watch and not engaging, but it had no depth. You look at a movie like, say, Darjeeling Limited, for example, which you just mentioned. That movie, I feel like, was one of the last of his good live-action movies. I absolutely loved Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs. I thought Grand Budapest was good. I wasn't a big fan of Moonrise Kingdom, but Darjeeling Limited, when I first saw Darjeeling Limited, I wasn't a fan, but it was one of those movies because there is a story there about these brothers, and you are invested in their journey, and you want to see what happens to them, and you care about what happens to them. There is zero connection that I had to a single character on screen during this movie. It was just one pretty scene going from one pretty scene going to another pretty scene, and by the end of it, you're like, well, I guess it's over. And, the music was cute, and he hit all the same notes that he really does. Let's see. Dean over on Twitch says, I love Wes Anderson films, and I basically have no interest in this. He's almost taking seriously the parody on social media and the Wes Anderson IRL trend. Absolutely. Like, this movie felt like one of those, AI generated movie trailers where they, say, oh, what if Star Wars was directed by Wes Anderson? They plug it into an AI generator and then they do all the different scenes. It felt very much like that. It was that thin, but very beautiful. Let's see. Furious Apology says, I saw Wes Anderson once riding a bicycle in a circle in a corduroy suit in Paris by himself, which I think turned into the film French Dispatch.
I was about to say.
Yeah. Let's see. Vince says Velvet Santa did a bric-a-brac. That's a pre-show, beginning show thing. They're too much in a rush right now, but I'll remember next time. I will get to that. Vince said, sorry if I missed it, but better and worse than French Dispatch. Man, okay, so this one's tough for me because French Dispatch was another one of those movies that I wanted to like more than I did because I felt that it was just one vignette too heavy. This movie was like vignettes in a vignette, and I wish that they would have either gotten rid of the French Dispatch as an encapsulating vignette and just did the individual stories, or scrapped a couple of the individual stories and focused more on the French Dispatch, the paper. But to answer your question, I think French Dispatch was better because there were storylines that I actually did really care about in that one. Like the Benicio del Toro storyline was really good. And I like the Frances McDormand storyline was pretty good with the Timothy Chalamet was pretty good. But there was more cohesion into the French Dispatch, I thought, than in Asteroid City. So, is it worth seeing? Sure. I'd matinee it. It's definitely a theater movie just because it's so visually engaging. But I'm just really disappointed in Wes. I think Dina on Twitch kind of nailed it. He is falling into his own parody. Which is funny because he's like doing cease and desists all over the internet for people that are posting like the fake trailers of using AI to generate stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, oh, you can't do that. That's my style. It's like, dude, fuck you. You didn't invent orange.
It's going to make you money. Maybe people will see it and be like, well, that's cool, and then watch one of your dumbass movies. Mm-hmm. I don't like Wes Anderson movies.
So, I mean, okay, if we're gonna talk Wes Anderson, you start at the beginning. Bottle Rocket is good. Rushmore is great. Royal Tenenbaums is also great. Life Aquatic, pretty damn good. Darjeeling Limited, pretty damn good. Fantastic Mr. Fox, pretty freaking awesome. Grand Budapest Hotel, Isle of Dogs. That's my list of Wes Anderson movies that I like. The rest, take them or leave them. But those are very good movies. And Bottle Rocket, at this point in his time, if you go back and watch Bottle Rocket and Rushmore, you'd have a hard time going, oh, that's a Wes Anderson movie, because he had not fallen into his own style that hard. Bottle Rocket, if you put Bottle Rocket in front of somebody, and then at the end go, who directed that? And you said Wes Anderson, they'd be like, nah, dude, Wes Anderson is all.
Rushmore's like a regular movie compared to what it does now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's in theaters right now, doing pretty well for itself. You can check it out. All right, Jake.
Yeah. All right. So I went and watched the other controversial movie that's out there right now. I saw the Jennifer Lawrence-led No Hard Feelings. I mean, people right now are not liking it because of the subject matter that the trailer gives you.
This lady's sexually predatorizing this young guy for money?
Well, so it's based on a real Craigslist ad that one of the movie producers had seen when they were talking about writing a movie, which was that some parents were looking for a woman to date their son to bring him out of his shell. And the story in the movie, it's a sex comedy, right? The story in the movie is that...
Do people have sex in it, though? I know it's about not having sex.
That's kind of a spoiler about the movie.
Okay. Do they fall in love?
That's kind of a spoiler about the movie.
So, yes.
So... So the premise is they live in Montauk, New York. They're on the beach. All these rich people have been flooding in. Jennifer Lawrence's character is a local, right? She's lived there her whole life. Her mom's passed away, and her mom left her the house that she's living in, but she's behind on her taxes. So they're taking her home away from her. They repossess her car, and she's a Uber driver, right? And so her friends are trying to help her figure out how she can pay for her home and all this stuff while she's lost her car and her one way to make money. And it's summertime when all the rich people are there, and that's the only time anyone in this resort town or whatever makes their money is when the tourists are there, or the people that only live there part-time and have too much money than they know what to do with. They're going to buy Titanic tickets soon, kind of people. So she loses her car. She's going to lose her house. And one of her friends shows her this ad on Craigslist, which is that if they're looking for someone in their early to mid-20s to date their 19-year-old son, and they'll give them a like '01 Buick Regal or something like that. That's actually one of my biggest problems with this entire movie.
The Buick Regal?
No, not the car itself, but that she says she's an Uber driver and wants the car to continue being an Uber driver. Uber won't let you drive a car that's more than 8 or 10 years old. I think it needs to be within 5 to 7 years. So
you have to stick to the rules of the universe of which you create.
Since she says Uber in the movie, even though all the promotional material for this leaves the word Uber out of it so they don't get sued, but she says it in the movie. You cannot use a car that old to do ride share or whatever, anyhow, so she doesn't want to do it, right? It's not really something she wants, but she gets put up against a wall and she goes to talk to him. It's Matthew Broderick and whoever the actress is that played his wife. They're these parents.
Laura Benatti.
Okay, they're like hovering parents, right? And they want their kid who's going off to college to be brought out of his shell, because that's how Matthew Broderick was, right? He was a nerd. He was a loner.
No, he wasn't. He was Ferris Bueller.
Bueller was a nerd, my guy. But he was like, when I was a kid his age, I dated a girl. She brought me out of my shell. And then when I went to college, I was actually socially okay, and I became a better person. Now I'm rich, and that's really the catalyst that spurred me into being who I am. We want the same for my son so that he doesn't suck. His room is full of all the manga you read, bro. It's like Berserk and
because Berserk is awesome.
Gaunt's and all sorts of stuff.
I don't read Gaunt's.
Gaunt's is the shit, dude. You should check it out. So don't do it, bro. Anyhow, so she talks to them about what they're seeking from her. And everything like that. And yes, the movie does progress. She wants the car, so she's just trying to like bone down on this kid as hard as she can, as quick as she can, to get out of the way to get the car. But in that process, he wants to get to know her because he's a geek, and her whole thing is that she's stunted and he's coddled. Right, his parents have done everything for him his whole life because they're rich and he doesn't have to do anything. He got made fun of once as a kid, so he's just avoided social contact. She has been stunted.
Did he start a movie podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
But her mom passing away and her dad having never been in her life because he has another family and she is the bastard child kind of a thing, has made it where, she never grew up and he's refusing to grow up. But as they come together and learn lessons from each other, they both kind of grow up through the relationship and then frictions that come from that as well. It's actually a pretty decent movie. It's not bad. There's parts of it that's funny. There's a really good action scene in it. Believe it or not. Yeah,
she just like roll out with a bow and arrow. And
no, they're like skinny dipping in the ocean, and these kids come up and steal their clothes. These like drunk kids. So she just marches out of the ocean straight naked, and then like suplexes them.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty
cool. Naked
cool.
suplex.
Yep. But it's actually pretty fun. It's a decent movie. They don't ever end up doing the sex or whatever. The point of the whole movie is that they grow as people each. She decides to grow up and get on with life and do things that she's wanted to do but never done, and he decides that he's not afraid of the world. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a lot like movies like Sex Drive or Fast Times, or any kind of movie like that where it's kids and they grow up. I liked it. I didn't have a bad time with it. There was people in the theater that were laughing their asses off, having the best time of their life.
I mean,
It's not that funny.
I'm not a big comedy movie guy. You know, it takes a lot for me to like guffaw in a theater, and usually if it is, it's because something really tragic happened and it's not supposed to be funny. But I understand that there is a place for these movies.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, and it fits that, but it's like definitely like a coming of age, growing up movie, and it's not bad. Like it's not any worse than all of the others. So I think it's catching a lot of flack unnecessarily just because people decided to be
to judge a book before by its cover or whatever. But speaking of comedies, I'm going to see John Lovitz this weekend.
You are?
So yeah, got tickets for July 1st. So this Saturday I'll be going to see
I've been meaning to do that. There's something
Mr.
else.
Lovitz. They
still got tickets?
Stinks. I don't know.
I need to do that, and I need to go see Tim Meadows and take my copy of Ladies Man and have him sign my copy of The Ladies Man.
Actually, I should take a bottle of Cavassier and see if they'd let me have him sign it, or if they just kick me out for bringing in a bottle of Cavassier.
I need to take my copy of Little Nicky and see if he'll sign that.
It's just a Cavassier signed by Leon Phelps. So I was like, don't put your actual name on it. Just sign it Leon Phelps.
Tim Meadows, yeah.
Crack out this bottle of Cavassier.
Yeah. Welcome back to The Ladies Man.
As the Quiet Storm. Ladies Man, Leon Phelps.
Vince, it's not bad, raves Jake.
It's true. It's all right. Well, okay. Well, those are the movies that are out. Let's talk about how much money they made. We are going to do the box office roundup and then turn the air conditioner on because it is 1 billion degrees in this sweat box that we call a studio. And these are last weekend's numbers from June 23rd through June 25th, 2023. We always give you the top 10 movies in America. Jake's going to start with number 10, work his way up to number 1. These are domestic numbers only because these are the only numbers that matter to movie studios. So when we're talking about flash earnings, like they want this to be, U.S. soil earnings and not worldwide earnings. Otherwise, they consider it a flop. So going to start with number 10. Take it away, Jake.
Yeah, actually, I want to talk about number 12 just real quick. Fast X.
Of course you want to talk about
Hold on,
number 12.
because it's already out. You can buy it. You can rent it. You can watch it at home. All of that stuff. It's been out for 6 weeks.
You can boil it. You can put it in a stew.
It made $1 million last week, which makes it where it has 144.5 million domestic. That has to hurt for them. So
that's crazy.
Make a better movie next time. Then number 10, the Disney horror movie, The Boogeyman.
Still out there.
$2.5 million. Its domestic take in 4 weeks is 37.7. Not bad for the terrifying mind of Stephen King in the world of Disney. That's just so weird.
Who'd have thunk it?
And then in its second week out, The Blackening, $3 million brought in this past week. It brings it to 12.2. It's only in just under 1,800 theaters. I thought that would be.
I thought it'd be in more, honestly, yeah. I mean, it's playing here.
And then coming in at number 8 weeks out, Guardians Volume 3, $3.4 million. Its domestic total is $350. And that's something too. I think Disney's not mad jazzed about that because that's the kind of number that they're expecting early on.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten into the billion club and probably won't. And I think that they want all these Marvel movies to get into the billion club.
Yeah, well, people are getting burned out on these comic movies, man. And then coming in at number 7, in its 5th week out, Little Mermaid brought in $8.5 million. $270 million is its take in the U.S., bringing in about $500 million worldwide total. The U.S. is the only place I know of that it's doing good. All the rest of those numbers are a little here, a little there, all put together. And then coming in above it, the movie that you watched in its second official week out, climbing from the number 10 spot.
Yeah, it was only in 10 theaters last week.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And it was number 10. Wow, that's pretty good. Asteroid City, $9 million brought in by it, bringing its domestic take up to 10.2.
So its per theater average was more than the number 1 movie in America. So
not bad.
Yeah, it just wasn't in a lot of theaters.
And then at number 5, Transformers: Rise of the Beast brought in $11.7 million this past week. Its domestic take is only 123, but from everything I've seen, they're not too upset with it just because it's been well received so far. 340 million internationally. I don't know if that's anywhere near it making its money back, but it's probably one of the better Transformer movies. And then opening at number 4, the movie I just reviewed, No Hard Feelings, brought in 15 million at the box office. I know that's a lot less than what they were expecting, but
and number 4 opening's not a great opening, but
comedies, unless they just have like a really strong lead, don't do
or
that
about
well.
like drugs.
Yeah, that's true. And then number 3, dropping from the number 1 spot in its second week out, The Flash brought in same amount of money as No Hard Feelings, and its domestic take in 2 weeks is only $87.5 million. It's made 212 across the globe, which is not great for these big budget superhero movies. And then at number 2, holding at number 2 for the second week, Elemental brought in 18 million. Its domestic take is 65. They are labeling that one as a big old failure.
I mean,
Disney.
I think Disney at a certain point thinks that just slapping the name Pixar on something means everybody's going to fall in love for it and it's going to be an instant classic forever. And it's like, you still got to make a good movie with characters that we love, not just Water Guy and Fire Girl. Like, this doesn't have anything that people are going to be like, I latch on to this,
And Vince said he's seen so many headlines about how bad Elemental has flopped, but it's above The Flash. Yeah, exactly. Flash has not done great. And then returning to the number 1 spot.
From the number 3 spot.
3.
That's crazy.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 19 million this past week. Its domestic take in 4 weeks out is just shy of 317 million. So it's brought in 560 million across the world. That one, their movie studios are a lot more pleased with. So it's the only comic book movie doing what they wanted to see it do.
Because it's Spider-Man, it's the only comic book character that people still care about anymore.
Well, I mean, I bet Deadpool 3 is going to be big.
I feel like people are getting Batman fatigue. People are got Superman fatigue. People are
Batman fatigue.
Well, I mean, it didn't save the Flash.
That's because it's called The Flash. It's not called Batman.
It should have been. It should have been called Batman Flashpoint.
If they would have had more Batman, it would have been a better movie.
It would have been great.
And if they would have had the Bruce Waynes meet each other, it would have been a better movie.
Oh, dude. And they could have. They showed up on set.
They would have fixed it. They would have corrected everything and made stuff better. So they couldn't have done that. They can't have
the
smart
Batman.
people. Yeah.
Let's see. Dina said on Twitch they were hoping that Elemental would have had the appeal of Inside Out, but that was a huge mistake. And no, because Inside Out was a better movie. It was also more relatable. The thing about the Pixar movies that are just magical to everyone is they appeal to something that is inside of everyone. Or they just make you cry about your grandparents, like that one movie.
Well, there's 2 of them.
Remember me. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a
it's so good.
what's the one with the Polynesian girl?
Moana.
Yeah, Moana. That one's the sad kill your grandma movie. And then what's the one that you're talking about? Coco. Yeah. Jeez, Coco made me cry in the theater, and I hated it so much. I was like, why you gotta kill all the grandmas? Freaking
dude, Coco. I can't watch Coco because I can't
Coco
watch
and
Coco
Moana.
with anybody else. I can't watch Iron Giant with anybody, and I can't watch Coco with anybody.
Super.
Because I'ma just cry.
Where is my?
He's over. He's back there in the back corner.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Dina says that's what they mean. Thought it would capture the same audience because they're sociopaths who don't understand why Inside Out was so good. Yeah, I mean, Inside Out was literally about feelings. Literally, and it made great memes. So there you go. Or Soul, come on, Soul was also a mega tearjerker.
I never saw that one.
It's good. It's good. So anyway, all right. Well, that's
because it's about dead babies.
It's it's instant dead.
Jazzman meets dead babies.
Dead babies. Yeah,
I forgot.
Holy shit. But it's pretty good. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here so we can turn the air conditioner on. I'm literally sweating. So we will be back next week talking about Indiana Jones. You can probably catch me Friday morning on Good Day NWA making 4th of July cocktails and Indiana Jones stuff. So if you live here in Northwest Arkansas and can see KNWA, Fox 24, you can check me out there. And, we'll be in the theaters cracking that whip, says Vince on Twitch. So don't forget, like and subscribe, follow us wherever you want to follow us. But we love Twitch. You can tune in live, you can watch replays from last week, but if you don't want to even participate in that and you don't want to look at our silly goofy faces, you can download the podcast wherever it is you download podcasts, like Spotify, wherever, tuned in, Google Podcasts, blah blah blah, you name it. So with that said, I guess we're done for the night. So yeah, all right guys, well, we will see you guys next week. As always, I'm Bo the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
Adios.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.